Hello everybody, it's Philip from Java 2 11.15 and this is our Fundamentals 2 video. We were asked to make some changes to the application. Let me go ahead and load it up and you'll see. So now in the application, as you can see, we have the master and detail swapped in position. So the detail's on the left, the master's on the right. And in the master, all the app components have a blue background. And in the detail, all of those components have a green background. The only other thing that we were required to put in there was a preference pane, which I will click up here and show you. I now have settings and exit application. If I click on exit application, clearly she exits. Let me go ahead and launch her back up for you. And if I go ahead and add a country like United States and do a lookup here, I also made it to where if it returned more than one result, it would go ahead and tell you that. And now you can see it adds more than that in here. If you return just one result, it automatically loads that up for you. Also, if you go ahead and click up here and click on settings, it loads it up into a new settings pane. And you can clear the cache data in the application. Just click and it's been cleared. If it's been an error on clearing, it'll tell you that. Once we click OK, we're back to the main screen and we have our default stuff loaded again. So the other thing that was needed to be changed was that we had to have a file helper and, of course, an API async class where all of our network operations take place. Of course, I already had those in separate classes, so I didn't have to do much. But other than that, that was the application. The hardest part, of course, was getting the preference activity to work politely with the system. There's a trick to it, and the trick was that you have to have a settings placeholder view when the application starts, so that there's a blank view added to the screen where the settings fragment will be added. If you don't have that, you're going to run into issues. And then, of course, you use an intent. When you click on an option selected, it'll create an intent. And you set the class for that intent to your settings activity, and then you start it for result. And the reason we're doing it for result is so that when the settings application is complete, we can load up a new list, which would reload our data and clear the details. Without that start activity for result, we wouldn't be able to do this. So, of course, we have our start settings activity class, which extends the base activity. And we just go ahead and replace our main content view with the settings window. And we go ahead and say, hey, hello, let's go ahead and show our fragment. And in our settings fragment itself, we create our preference catch title. And we're just going to create a new instance where we set the activity to our settings activity so we can close it. And we add our resources from our XML file. And then we go ahead and load up our preference in the onActivityCreated. We set our preference on click listener. We tell it what to do, in this case file helper clear cache contents. And we handle any errors that may come up. And when we're done, we return the result. And of course our settings placeholder is just a basic fragment. We needed to add an action menu XML here that had two items for menu preference as well as exit. And we had to add a settings XML file for our clear preference. But other than that, that was the application. I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one. Bye-bye.